U.S. consumer credit, right? All right. Okay. U.S. consumer credit. Let's start with the chart on this one. Credit card write-offs have been on the rise at Citigroup. Of course they are, because you guys issue the plastic. You guys make people buy stuff they don't need, and then what? They default. I mean, simple as that, right? So, U.S. consumer credit card write-offs at Citibank hit 6.5%, the highest since at least Q2 2022. Well, one thing that could happen during the pandemic is that the Fed printed the 7-8 billion, but then put the money in people's pockets because they were stuck at home, right? Okay. Well, that money is all gone now. I've talked about this in previous power hours, showed you guys the graphs. All that savings is gone to negative now. Well, now what do? We ask for more plastic and spend more money we don't have. Well, that's or we start defaulting on the plastic that we got and we borrowed on it. Well, first we don't pay the bills. That's the first sign of trouble. Okay. The percentage of net credit card losses at the retail services division has more than doubled in the last 2 years. This is Citibank. This is not a joke bank, right? But this is happening throughout. This is happening with regional banks. This is happening with massive banks like JP Morgan's, Bank of America's, and with 2.1 trillion of excess savings depleted since 2021. That's exactly what I said. Consumers are struggling to pay off credit card debt. No shit. Yeah. This is what happens when we create this economy that depends on consumer spending, and the consumer spending that takes place is all impulse buying because the bank just gave you another credit card with 10K credit on it because your credit is good, right? You go, oh, I'll just have 10K, I'll just go spend it. No, it doesn't work like that. As a result, Citigroup has started shuttering unused credit card accounts and raising its capacity for collecting bad debts to manage its losses. This is reminding me exactly of 2008, what happened with the financial crisis, right? People were borrowing money on their homes, and I was doing a lot of those loans too, by the way. Guilty as charged. And then what? What happened, right? We all know what happened. Millions lost their homes because they used their homes like an ATM machine or a credit card. This is not a pretty picture, people. So meanwhile, Wells Fargo and JP Morgan net charge-offs from their credit card businesses jumped 60% in Q2 2024. Think about this. U.S. consumers are struggling to pay off debt. No kidding. You know why that is? That's because of inflation, man-made inflation that was created. How many of us, okay? Inflation runs 5 to 7% a year. Don't listen to the government. Government's all hocus pocus. They say it's just 2%, 3%. No. It's 5 to 7%. So your money, if you had $100 bill, figure it out that way. If you had $100 bill 10 years ago, it's still the same $100 bill, okay? 10 years ago, you had a $100 bill. You're losing 5 to 7% of your value every single year. So let's just take the middle, 6%. Well, that $100 in 10 years has lost 6% every single year of its value, meaning its buying power, right? So that $100 10 years ago, today is only worth $40. And we know that because when we go spend $100 10 years ago versus we go spend $100 today, what we can buy with that $100 10 years ago versus today is completely different story, right? So now the consumer goes, well, I'm tight. I can't pay my credit card balances off. So I'm going to default. Okay, great. So what does that create? Well, you're not going to be issued more credit now because your credit score is taking a beating, right? Now the banks start cutting credit. That's what will that do? That will slow down the economy. Remember the GDP I talked about, 27 trillion? Here comes GDP going lower and lower and lower, right? And here goes the debt going higher and higher and higher. There you go. Welcome to the US. Welcome to the upside down economics of the US. Now, I'm a simple person, right? I mean, I have my background and I have my stuff together, but how is this allowed going forward, right? And I'm not liking the picture, but then again, please, these are, to me, these are topics that I talk about when we have get-togethers with friends, relatives. They don't even have to ask me because conversation goes automatically to this. I'm tired of talking about this. But what they do is because they know I'm in finance, they go like, what do you think about this? And then the conversation starts. But then the other thing that starts is that they're experiencing exactly this. They're having a difficult time struggling to pay off debt. So then they ask me, what should I do? I'm like, well, did you use credit cards to buy stuff you don't need for the last 3 years? They go, yeah, I splurge on this, I splurge on. I go, well, I mean, don't come to me now. I've been telling you this for 3 years. Debt is good, but managed debt is good. Debt out of control is going to bankrupt you.